This is the best Cowboys team you've seen since when? Now, one of the reasons...
Dak's rookie season.
Now, that's interesting that you say that, and I bet there are other people who feel that way. But the whole reason that this came up is on Monday Night Countdown, Randy Moss says he thinks that the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC, which is all fine and well.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith said that as well. And he said, I can honestly say this is the best team that I've seen since the 90s from the Dallas Cowboys. And then when you factor in, like, I know we kind of joked about it, but when you factor it in the Bucs winning the NBA title, the Braves winning the World Series, and like how that has coincided with Cowboys Super Bowls.
Cowboys win
past.
the Super Bowl in 95 and was it 71 or something like that?
Yes. And so then the question becomes, this is the best Cowboys team you've seen since when? Because the first thing I saw from the 817 was since 95.
Okay. And I understand that I don't think you can have a wrong answer here. This doesn't remind me of, obviously, 92, 93, or 95. What this reminds me of is 2007. And I'm not saying they're going to have the same fate of losing.
That team was damn
but it was
good.
great, right? That they had the best record in the NFC. They were 13-3. They had home field advantage. They had the bye. They had home field advantage. Unfortunately, they lose to the Giants. We know how that plays out. But I feel like even though Tony Romo hadn't had a lot of snaps, a lot of games played, he was signed in 2003. I almost said drafted, but so you have a guy who had been in the NFL for a while and he wasn't a rookie. So when I go back to 16, because I agree with Corey in like, yes, this is the best team since 2016, but I think going into playoffs, there was this warning sign that everybody was pointing out. When you have a rookie in the playoffs at quarterback, it can be very difficult to win playoff football games. And honestly, Dak played great against the Packers for the most part. Obviously, you get down 21-0. That's a tough one to come back from. But they did. They tied the game up in the end, and we know what happened with the Packers situation. But the reason I point to 2007 is you had Bill Parcells, and I hate saying McCarthy's Bill Parcells. I know they're not. But you have a guy who's early on in his tenure coaching here.
Can I just stop on that real quick? Will you tell me more about why that's so easy to dismiss? Because just hear me out for half a second.
Go for it.
Bill Parcells won 2 Super Bowls. One of them was because of a missed field goal. If Mike McCarthy were to win the Super Bowl, I mean, he would have the same number of Super Bowls as Bill Parcells. Yeah. I know Bill Parcells is like bestowed this amazing status, but is it that different?
It might not be. I'll tell you what, if Mike McCarthy wins a Super Bowl, whether it's this year or next year, then all of a sudden I think he does get put in the conversation as one of probably like the 20 or 30 greatest head coaches of all time. Okay. Isn't that weird? As much as like maybe we've been bashing him last year.
I did bash him.
Didn't want him to be the coach, but if he ends up winning the Super Bowl this year, he gets into the category of, I'm not saying he's as high as Tom Landry or Vince Lombardi. I'm not saying that, or Bill Belichick, but he gets thrown into the conversation of coaches who have won 2 Super Bowls, and that is very
first
rare.
to do it with 2 different teams, right? I believe.
I mean,
no
Jimmy
coach
Johnson
has ever done it with 2 different teams. Yeah. Plus, he would have done it with 2 of the premier organizations, franchises in the history of the game.
Yeah, I just look at that 2007 team, and going into it that season, you felt good about it. And so that's the different thing is I think most people going into this season said, well, they can win the division, but they're not going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, if you think they're going to win the Super Bowl every year, then fine. Like I'm not taking those fans. Those fans that think the Cowboys are the best team ever every year, I can't take them seriously. But the serious Cowboy fan that's realistic said, they can definitely win this division, but probably not go deep in the playoffs because of the lack of talent on defense or the youth on defense, whichever one you wanted to use, and those are different. But I look at that 2016 team, Corey, and I think to myself, boy, the expectations were so low on them because of when Romo got hurt. But then at this point of the year, this is where the similarity is. You got to week 7 or week 8, and you're like, well, I can't believe this, but this team can't lose after the first week of the season. Well, that sounds exactly like this season is like, I can't believe this. After the first week of the season, they can't lose.
Right.
So I don't think there's a wrong answer here. I just thought of 07, of this is starting to remind me of the 07 team. And by the time we got to the playoffs, I really thought they were going to the Super Bowl. And maybe by the time we get to this end of the season, because I'm feeling this is a Super Bowl contending team now, maybe I'll feel like going in the playoffs, this team's going to the Super Bowl.